There are times as a collector, some of the greatest things you'll ever find happen unexpectedly. It's times where you find these deals and connections in some of the strangest of places. So let me go ahead and rewind and talk about how I got into this situation, which is the topic of this video. Now, there is a retro gaming store out here in Las Vegas called Pink Gorilla. Some of you might be familiar with it. Pink Gorilla originally started in Washington, where they currently have 3 locations in the Seattle area. But one of the owners, Cody, opened a location out here in Las Vegas, which I was very excited about, as much as the retro gaming community here in Vegas was as well. Now, Cody does stream on Twitch under the name DS Koopa. And it just happened to be 4 days ago, I saw him streaming and decided to pop in. Now, Cody was organizing his garage, and I started seeing some cool stuff in the background that I decided to make a comment on. But I'll go ahead and show you guys the footage and let it speak for itself. Now at this point, I'm just kind of making light conversation with the chat. I had noticed a really cool Gears of War standee in the background that I was a little fascinated by. Now, what happened next totally caught me off guard, and I really wasn't expecting it.
That is a game, or a Gears of War standee in the background. Pineapple Retro. Would you like it? You can have it for next to nothing. I would just really enjoy having my space back. Kind of all the stuff you'll see on our wall at all times. Seriously, you'd be down? Hell yeah, dude. Cool. I will bring it to this. Well, maybe you should message me on Twitch or something. I was gonna say I can bring it to the store as early as Saturday if you would like it.
And just like that, the game was on. I was not expecting him to come out and be like, hey, since you're interested, maybe we can work something out for it, and I'll give it to you for pretty much a steal. So I quickly messaged Cody on Twitch, and we started talking, and we came to a really insane deal. But I will leave what I paid for it till later in the video when we go pick it up. Now, I will say this, the Gears of War standee, when I was looking on it on the stream, looked a lot smaller than what it ended up turning out to be. But I'll go ahead and show you guys the footage now of me going to Pink Gorilla on Saturday to go pick it up. So here we are walking up to Pink Gorilla Games, and I always loved the look of their sign. I always thought that was adorable. And even like these little front graphics in the front showing the city with the gorilla and their original mascot, which is based off Godzilla. Going by the keychain and plush wall, we're going to go immediately to this little corner over here where they keep more of their expensive games, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. I'm talking like Blood Will Tell, there's some awesome sealed special editions, a lot of PS4 stuff, and a Power Glove, which is so bad. I really want it though, it's not a bad price either. If I wasn't already focused on getting other things, I probably would have picked it up, but here's a good overview of the shop in general. Looking at the GameCube section, I keep looking at this game, I keep picking it up and thinking about buying it, and I just put it back down. The only reason why I'm interested is because it's a Sega game, but I have no love for soccer, so I just kind of put it back down. Here's the Wii U section. We did find 2 games over there for a set, but we'll come back to that later. Looking in the handheld case, I'm always tempted to get into imported Vita. Haven't made the jump quite yet though. PS3 section's looking stacked. Unfortunately, nothing I need. But over here in the soundtrack section, they have the soundtrack for Rule of Rose, which is pretty awesome. Might consider buying that too, who knows. Now, after I was done kind of cruising around the store and kind of oogling at all the awesome games they had for their selection, it's time to go to the main event of why I was there in the first place. I'm talking, let's see this standee and let me see exactly what I've got myself into.
Yeah.
Alright, Cody, you're not here, but I'm grabbing your standee. Thanks for the good deal, by the way. Okay guys, so we just got done with Pink Gorilla. So Cody wasn't there, but I did talk to him the night before on Twitch. So we got the Gears of War standee. It's in really good shape. The front just popped off, don't mind that, it's windy. And it does have the OG dog tags on it. So we're gonna go ahead and load it up.
and then I'll talk to you guys more about it in the garage. Okay, so I'm home now. I've unloaded the standee from my car. We're in the garage, and this thing is huge. So I'm just go ahead and give you guys some close-up of everything. Like I said, the detail on it is pretty immaculate, and a lot of the standee itself seems to be in very good condition. There are some things that are a little bent, like the blood drops here, but most things are just in very, very nice shape. I did find it cool that it still had the original dog tags with it, the Gears dog tags. But yeah, look at this. So like the tip of the gun, this is a little bent just from, you know, this thing is really old. It's from 2008, so wasn't really expecting it to be this great a condition, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys what I paid for this. So I got this from Cody from Pink Gorilla. I paid $50 for this entire standee. It is absolutely wild. I didn't know how big exactly it was gonna be until I got it in person, but I'm really, really happy to have this. Now, what are my plans on this? Because I obviously don't have the room in either of my game rooms. Well, right now, I think I'm just gonna hold on to it. I'm considering maybe trading it in the future, but for right now, it's just kind of a cool piece of video game history to have for my collection. And then for a bonus, here is the back of the standee. So there is some stuff on the back again. Hope runs deep. There's the release date for the game, November 7th, 2008. And there also was one more cool bonus that I thought I'd like to show you guys. So this came with the original assembly instructions from Microsoft to how to build the standee, which I thought was really neat. You know, it's not too often that you get the standee with the actual instructions with it. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, great, great piece.
All right, so as you saw from the footage, Pink Gorilla, awesome store. You know, for such a small space, it is, they actually really utilized it super well. You know, Pink Gorilla is kind of known for having all those games along the wall that, you know, zip tied on the grates, which I thought was cool. But yeah, the standee though, you guys can see how tall it is. I mean, it's pretty big. I mean, I'm about 6'1", and it's like almost to my shoulders. So this is definitely not a not something that will fit in any other game room. You know, particularly my game rooms are a little packed. I'm sure you saw me talking about it in the garage. My plans for it just to hold on to it for right now. But yeah, that's not the only thing we ended up picking up. But can you believe that though? $50 for a full-size standee, especially in the condition that you saw it in, is a absolutely crazy deal. I mean, shout out again to Cody from Pink Gorilla for giving that to me. But I did pick up some games while I was there. Now, there is a certain goal I'm going for currently where I'm trying to do a full Wii U set, and we're getting really, really close to doing it. There are currently 166 titles that were fully released for the North American Wii U, and this is definitely going to add to our count, which I'll tell you in a sec what it's at after I show you what games we got. Okay, so the first Wii U title we picked up for our set today is Skylanders Trap Team. Now, I've never really been interested in Skylanders. You know, maybe someday if I can find a Portal or some of the figures, you know, for super cheap, I'll go ahead and try it out. But they released a lot of Skylanders games on the Wii U. I'm kind of shocked how many there are. But thankfully with this one, I believe we only need one more for our set, and then we're completely done with Skylanders, which I'm stoked about. But yeah, this is not a bad entry for $8. I'm happy to add that into the collection. Next up, we have Brunswick Pro Bowling. We paid $12 for this, and I think that's a pretty damn good deal considering it's complete. The disc looks really nice. The only problem with this copy, besides besides the cases, it has this little indent on the back here where it unfortunately just got punched in, and that's a big issue I've noticed with a lot of Wii U games. They get really damaged super easily. It's mostly because Nintendo decided to start using these recycled cases, right? So they're like these big hole indents on both this side and underneath the disc side. So unfortunately, the inserts in these games, they typically end up super wrinkled and damaged. So not exactly the greatest choice. So it's really hard to find mint condition copies for games because of that reason. But overall, with these two games, we are officially at 122 North American Wii U titles out of 166 that were released. So we're getting pretty dang close to finishing this set. Granted, when I started this set, I was already at about, I believe, 50 or 60 games total in my collection before I decided to go all in to go for the full set. And I've found that the Wii U is really fun to collect for, and it's also a hell of a lot easier than my last full set that I completed, which was the Sega Dreamcast. That one took me a good 8 years to complete. But as I'm sure you guys have seen, Wii U games are a little bit easier to find than Sega Dreamcast games are. Okay guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Once again, shout outs to Cody and Pink Gorilla for the awesome deal. I've been loving going to your store in Vegas. I try to hit it up every now and then when I get a chance, but that just goes to show. I hope all those new collectors out there that happen to be watching, or even some of my veteran collectors, will just kind of remind themselves that get out of your comfort zone every now and then. You never know when you're going to find yourself walking into a deal. And then, you know, I have to say, that's like the one constant I've seen throughout the entire time I've been collecting the last 10 years is you always find items in the strangest places, and just through talking and meeting up with people. So Cody, once again, if you ever watch this, thank you so much for the deal, man. I very much appreciate it. I'm sure I'll tell you when I see you in your next stream anyways, but thank you so much. And of course, guys, until next time, I'll catch everybody later.